This is Bailey, my 2014 Ford E350 cargo van conversion. And this is my tour. Stick around till the end and I'll tell you how he got his name. Let's go. I know a number of you have been asking to get the full tour of my van. Even though he's still in the shop, I've taken enough pics and videos to show you around. This is Bailey, my 2014 Ford E350 cargo van conversion. He was originally used by the Army to transport troops from the base to the airfield. This is why it only had 38,000 miles on it when I got him. Jim of 365 Camper in Prescott, Arizona did a great job. It's amazing how much he packed into this tiny space. It's an automatic that runs on gasoline. The seller was going to convert it to 4x4, but didn't get around to it before his plans changed. For now, it's front-wheel drive. It's got a side door that I absolutely love. That makes it feel more like a home to me. I put in, or rather, Jim put in, the awning. On the right side is the water intake, and an external light when you're sitting around under the awning at night. Around the back, we have a tank for the diesel heater. It's got insulation to help keep it from gunking up in really cold weather. Not that I ever intended to be in cold weather at any time soon. The spare tire is mounted on a swing, which reveals the locker for the propane tank, as well as the garage. Inside the garage is the electrical system. There's a 300 amp hour lithium battery, 2000 watt inverter, a DC to DC charger with MPPT controller, and 250 watts of solar on the roof. Here's my EcoFlow AC unit, which takes up most of the storage space, but I'm sure I'll appreciate it when it gets too hot. There's a 30-gallon water tank and water heater. It has a heat exchanger that heats up the water when you drive. This way, you can take a nice hot shower when you arrive at your destination. Speaking of, the outdoor shower is located on the driver's side of the van. Underneath is my shore power. This is the external port to plug in additional solar power. I had that put in. And my gas tank. I'm not sure what this is. I think it's a bottle opener. On top are my side lights that are really bright and are only supposed to be used when you're setting up camp. Otherwise, you might just be pissing off your neighbors and a few bears. Moving on to the front, we have these external storage units. Jim tells me to only put stuff up there that I don't use that often. Otherwise, I might hurt myself climbing up there to get something. There are also front lights, which are great when pulling into a dark campsite. Now let's go inside. First thing you're greeted with is the bug screen. I added that since I intend to keep the door open a lot. It's got a swing-up extension to add prep space when cooking. Because of all the insulation, the height is only 5 foot 10 inches. My head nearly touches. My son, who is 6'2", is not going to like this very much. But for me, it works. The kitchen has a propane stove, fairly decent sink, and the pump is to the right. There are 3 storage units on each side, good for food stuff over the kitchen and clothes stuff over the dining area. Decent-sized drawers on the left, and this big score, the seller left the mother load of plasticware. On the right is a slide-out spice and can rack, which I really like. The seller originally had a small microwave and a very small refrigerator because he didn't like to cook. I like to cook. So I replaced it with a larger refrigerator and ended up with additional shelving above. Above the kitchen is a MaxxAir fan. It only blows in one direction, out. I might change that a little later, but we'll see how it goes when the windows and doors are open. The bed was originally a queen size. It's wide enough for a standard mattress to go widthwise. I realized that I didn't have enough space for my art stuff, namely my tent, chairs, and other stuff. So I sacrificed a foot off the width, which means going to a full mattress. Jim put in additional storage on both sides. I ended up with a 5 foot by 1 foot open space that holds pretty much the tent and quite a bit more. Above that is another ledge for more long storage or doodads. I wanted to decorate this area, but I like the storage. Over here we have the dinette. The seller intended to do a lot of graphic work. And since that's what I do, it really works out that we have this much space. It converts to a bed, which is also pretty convenient. Underneath each bench is storage, one for my portable bathroom, the other for the Stu Rosen art supplies. I better not mix that up. Here is more storage, not very deep at all, but good for all those little knickknacks that you need right away. The cab is pretty standard. Everything is manual. The windows, the mirrors, the locks. It's so last century. But it's good in case of emergency, and I need the exercise. The battery monitor is over here, with switches for the Starlink and Peplink antenna. He labeled them radar and GPS for some reason, so I just have to remember which is which. Now for my personal touches. I wanted to somehow put in a totem somewhere, but then I found this sconce in an art gallery in Sedona. And then Jim added this behind. Is that not the coolest thing you've ever seen? I love this. Here's another thing I love. My friend wall. Back when I lived in my stick and brick, I had a gallery wall of art from my friends that I've met at art shows. I always say I don't invest in art, I invest in artists. So I took photos of all the art before putting them in storage and made magnets. Each one of these has a story. Now, have you ever seen something online that you know you shouldn't get, but you just have to get it because it's just so cute? It makes me very happy. That's all that matters, surrounding yourself with things that make your heart sing. Of course, this isn't all about me and my ride. I had a platform made just for Indy. It locks into the seat, but comes out easily if I ever have a human passenger. I added in a comfy car seat, and he just loves it. There's currently a box in between just so that he can get up and down, but I bought these stairs with extra storage to replace it once we get back on the road. I've added big blind spot mirrors and will be installing a rear view system that fits over my mirror. So that's it. Now, if you've stuck around this long, and it's pretty long, here's how I came to name him Bailey. I had been staring lovingly at the photos for months, dreaming of what life was going to be like on the road. In July, I made a special trip to Prescott to finally see it in person. An hour flight and 2.5-hour drive later, there he was. I just had to reach out and touch it, to see that it was real. As I did it, I joked that it reminded me of the scene that I just saw in the new Jurassic Park movie, where Jonathan Bailey recreated the original Sam Neill scene of touching the dinosaur. That's when I had my aha moment. Jonathan Bailey. Bailey. I like that. I never named any of my other vehicles, but this one just fit. And naming it after Jonathan Bailey, I guess that makes it the sexiest van alive. Thanks for taking the journey with me, and now you know the rest of the story.